Hello and welcome to the Knit Girls. This is episode 593. I'm Laura, also known as Lala.
I am Leslie, also known as You Don't Call Me Les. Today is the 27th of October, 2022. It's a Thursday.
It is. It's the Thursday before Halloween.
Yep. Laura and I both use the she, her pronouns. And, neither of us have a ton to show since last week, but we're going to stretch it out anyway.
I feel like I have a good bit.
Oh, okay. I don't, but I feel very warm right now.
I told you, it feels like your heat's on. It's, so we went from like 50s last week in Mississippi. We're in Mississippi. To like 80s again this week. It's very bizarre.
Yeah, I just wish it would
make up its mind.
Yeah.
I'm leaning more towards the 50s end of the spectrum. Although defrosting my car every morning makes me wish that I had an auto start.
Yeah.
For sure.
But you don't love your car enough to put an auto start in it.
Not for a 2006 Toyota Corolla with 150,000 miles that I'm hoping to get rid of in the next year.
Yeah.
Like my next car will 100% have an auto start put in.
Oh, excuse me.
In fact, I was looking at vehicles last night again, and I was like,
this is a daily habit for you.
It's like a weekly habit.
Yeah. So,
dreams.
This isn't technically a show about cars.
Or car buying.
No. Or temperatures. Although we definitely get more old lady every week because we talk about the weather more.
I feel like that is definitely
So what
accurate.
are you working on?
I am working on a pair of socks. They are very bright orange.
Yeah, the light's doing something weird
Yeah,
too.
the light is doing, they're like a hunter orange. And then a black and a gray stripe. And the black is a skinnier stripe. And they are out of String Theory Colorworks on the Orbit base, which is her sport base. And I'm knitting these on size 1 needles. And they are the Stellar Nursery colorway, which was one of her Halloween colors. She does things with very science-y names.
In space, outer space a lot.
Yep. And so this was one of those. And this is the first one, so obviously not getting done probably for Halloween this year. But I'm participating in our Halloween Craft All the Things knit along. So, craft along. So, yeah, I wanted to rep that. Plus, I only have like 20 pairs of Halloween socks. I need more.
Only.
This is what it looks like in the cake. So really, really pretty. Oh, that's where those went. Yes. I found more stitch markers. I was missing some stitch markers earlier. So that is the first thing on my needles. And then the second thing on my needles is also a pair of Halloween socks. Those are some random needles that I threw in there when I was cleaning yesterday, because that's how we clean in my house.
You can't imagine why she can't find things.
Nope. So this is the first one. This is a Teeny Button Studio colorway. It was one of her Hocus Pocus colorways from 3 or 4 years ago. And I cranked them into tubes and put them away. And now I have picked up and knit the cuff. And I'm about to finish the second cuff. And then I've put in a marker for my placement of where I need to rip back to and reknit to the toe, and then I'll put in some heels. I might do like a pink heel, maybe. I don't know where the rest of this yarn is, but I'm sure I'll find it. But if I can't, I might do like a purple or pink, and yeah, coordinating solid, and put those in. Yeah, that orange, like orange today is being very vibrant, but that's okay.
Well, Michael put new lights in the thing.
Well, we were very fancy. So this is a variegated pink, purples, and oranges. It is very Sarah Jessica Parker's sister in Hocus Pocus, I think is who it was based off of. And both of these are living in Fat Squirrel bags. So that's my first two. And then my third thing on the needles is my... Oh
no. Some stitches just jumped off
They're
the needle.
fine.
They just jumped.
They just decided to come along for a ride. I'll pick those back up and get them back where they should be. But let me squish it down a little bit. This is the V-back cardigan. Also, the swatch came along for the ride. And Volmaza DK and the mints. It's a weird different version of mints. So this is the top, and I'm around 5 inches in, I would say, and I need to get to around 7, and then I will switch to this color,
which is Peppermint Prince.
Yes, a weird different version of that. And so this will be a total of 3 colors at the end. But yeah, I'm making decent progress. It is a true yoke sweater. So, you know, you do those every like 6th row or 7th row is a whole bunch of like knit to make ones across the entire round. So that increases your stitch count quite rapidly. I think I have around 400 stitches on here. I'm knitting this on size 7s. I know that because I did not get gauge. So gauge is 17 stitches to the 4-inch mark, and I got 19 stitches to the 4-inch mark. The size that I was already going to knit was a little bit on the large size. I'm typically a 49, and it was the sizing was like 48 or 49 and then 53. So I cast on for the 53 because I wanted a smaller neck, and then I went up to the 57, I think, since my gauge was a little off. And we're gonna see how that goes.
It'll fit someone.
It will. Hopefully me.
I don't even know if my bust has changed.
Yep, you should definitely, this is your PSA to remind you that you should do your
this
measurements.
only goes to 48 inches. That is not going to work.
You should do your measurements like once a year. Because things do change over time. Leslie and I have definitely changed over time.
Yeah, just go back to the first episodes.
I mean, we're 41 and 42 now.
Yeah.
I don't want to make you 41. Do you need help?
I'm 54 at the fullest point of my bust.
So if it's too big, it'll probably fit Leslie.
And
if it's too small, it'll probably fit Mama Linneman.
52 at the upper bust.
Because she's like a 46, I think. So it all works out. I'm not super worried about it.
Yep, it'll fit somebody. And they'll be very happy.
And it is stash yarn.
Yes.
So that is nice. For sure. So yeah. Those are all the things that I am knitting on. I have not finished anything this week because I've been knitting on a whole bunch of stuff. What have you been working on?
I've been working on my last Sweetshop hat. Sweetshop is a pattern by Tin Can Knits. I modified the chart a little bit because I didn't want to add more colors in, so I just did a single instance of this separator color. These are just yarns from Stash. I don't know what they are. I'm pretty sure the light blue is Sincere Sheep, but I don't remember anything else about it. And this is living in one of my many loved Hikari handmade bags.
Yes, she does great fiber too.
And I finished one. I'll just quickly show it since we don't have any.
It's on topic.
FOs this week, and this is really my only one. So this is the one from last week.
You're a liar who lies. You finished sewing too.
Yeah. I am a liar who lies. So I just swapped the colors. They're the same size. They're for 2 adults. So yeah, I hope to finish this week. And I am also knitting on a pair of socks from Mama Linneman. I don't remember where I was last week. I think I was on the cuff of the second one last week. It is all tangled right now. I took these with me to a football game last week.
Oh yeah, we went to a football game Friday night. To watch the band.
Yeah. When we left, it was
36-3.
Yeah. It was not great in our favor. But that's okay. The band was great. They had an amazing show, so
I told them today.
Good.
That you said that.
They had an amazing show. I was really impressed.
The director said, yes, the color guard is the highlight of our show.
So I just finished the heel flap, and I need to turn the heel. So, of course, I put it away. Because I was at knit night, and I didn't remember what my counts were. So, yeah, that's the other thing that I'm working on. And once I finish this hat, this will be what I focus on until my yarn gets here for my Gramercy cardigan.
Did you order it today?
I did.
Good.
I ordered some yarn from Webb's, some of their in-house yarn. I think it's Hayden. It was a worsted weight, 100% wool blend. And I ordered basically the same colors that were in the sample. And I can't
that's
wait.
The sweater from Pom Pom.
It's the sweater from Pom Pom where it's like old spinster aunt. And I'm here for it. But it's also a lot of intarsia. Like small sections of intarsia. So, but it's all knit like in one, it's top down. So I'll have one intarsia motif on this side and the back at the same time.
Okay.
So I'm gonna have a lot of bobbins, like
you'll be juggling a lot of bobbins.
Yeah, and I've never done intarsia in that way. I've done intarsia for my raw iron top, but it was just two skeins, and when you were using one, you weren't using the other. It was always, you just twisted it at the end. It was like knitting flat, essentially. So it'll be an experience. Anybody has any intarsia bobbin handling tips, I would love to hear them. Yeah, so there's that, and then the only other thing that I finished was some sewing. I've owed a couple of trades for sewing studio tunics. This one is Teresa's.
That's cute. That's very Teresa fabric.
It is absolutely Teresa fabric. And I've showed part of this before because I was so proud. The front is in 2 halves.
And you matched it.
And I matched the pockets to the fabric so that it was completely invisible. But I paid absolutely no mind to the fact that the 2 pieces had to match themselves. Like,
so you got more fabric?
So I had to buy more fabric. I mean, I didn't have to, but I sort of had to. Because it would have made me crazy. And yeah, so I finally got it done, and
aw, cute.
the panels match, the pockets match.
She'll love it.
It's difficult to see because I'm holding it up at a weird angle, but the pattern matches. And
it's a super cute tunic.
If she doesn't love it, she'd better lie to me and say that she does.
Yep.
Although she's in Oslo right now, or she was yesterday. She might.
Really?
She might be back now. She went on one of those Arnie and Carlos cruises, so totally
she was
jealous.
Gone for a long time.
She looked like she had an amazing time, though.
Yeah,
so.
Jillian's taking people to Ireland for 2 weeks, and I am, like, after seeing their Iceland trip, I am super jealous.
Yeah.
But my school gets out 2 days after they depart, so I can't make it, unfortunately.
So the other one of these is for Jill of Hip Strings, and she sent me some fiber as a trade. And this is like a stretchy denim.
It's very pretty.
So it's crinkled now because I folded it, but I embroidered her name on the pocket, and then I also embroidered a funny little quote here on the inside of the neckline, but it has a swear word in it, so I'll spare you guys and your delicate sensibilities. But that way it's, something that only she can see, but
yep.
It's in there. So I just embroidered it with a chain stitch. And
oh, I did some sewing this week.
Really? Oh, that's right.
So, for some reason, the men at my work have decided that I am the person who will fix things for them.
You are a woman.
And I knit, therefore I must sew.
Okay, I get it.
So I had a coworker whose gloves, like the stretchy, so machine-made gloves, 49ers gloves. So there's a stretchy bit of ribbing here, and it was serged to the bottom of the glove, and the serging had ripped out.
Oh, so it was just like a seam.
Yeah, so I just did like an overhand stitch over that seam. It was black, and I only had navy blue thread, but you get what you pay for. be happy that I spent 20 minutes of my day.
You know, it's funny that Kobe came home last week, and he works at the front desk of a hotel, so he has this like polyester black vest and tie that he has to wear. And the tie had started coming apart where the in the back where the flaps like overlap. And I'd never fixed a tie. He brought it home and he's like, "Can you fix this for me?" And so I had to figure out how to fix a tie without the thread showing. And
there was a whole Great British
there was
sewing
where they
episode
had to
of
make
that,
one.
yeah.
Great British Sewing Bee, which is, I think is just high enough stakes for me. It's pretty low stakes. Like I find it very entertaining and instructive.
It's a good one.
And then the vest, it was just like fixing some section in the pockets. But it made me think, and so I was asking a couple of friends of mine at work, like, if you had a piece of clothing that you wanted fixed, how would you go, like a seam needed to be repaired or something, what would you do? And it was 3 men that I asked. One of them said, what, like I couldn't afford new clothes?
Not the point.
I'm like, no, what if it was like a favored, hoodie or something?
Not the point.
The other said he would ask his wife to fix it, and the third said, oh, he just throws away things that, develop a hole in a seam or something. And, I get that to some degree, depending on where it is and what it is. Sometimes you just have to write it off, but...
Yeah, but I like to repair things when I can.
Yeah.
And these were his favorite gloves.
Yeah.
So I fixed those, and then 2 of my kids were like, can you fix my gloves? And I'm like, I'm going to be repairing dollar store gloves for the rest of my life. But theirs were actually, a hole in the knit.
Skill.
Yeah, we might do some visual mending, some visible mending.
Yeah, bring your books in and let them look through.
Yeah.
Well,
they have to not be jerks to me.
Yeah.
So...
They haven't been on great behavior lately.
It feels like a full moon, and I know, there's been a lot of trunk or treats going on because I see the candy wrappers everywhere, which, if you're going to eat candy, that's one thing. Whatever. I don't care, but clean up after yourself.
Yeah.
Don't leave your trash on the floor for me or the janitor to clean up. That's just rude.
So, now you have to explain what trunk or treats are for people who may not.
So it's been a trend that's, I think, developed over the course of the last 15 years. It is considered, a safe way of trick-or-treating, so people, advertise this, and you take your car.
It's typically in a church parking lot.
Yeah, it's in some kind of parking lot, and, cars are all lined up, and you open the trunk, and some people have chairs, and they have, goodies for kids, usually candy, and... their parents walk the small children around, or large children, or whatever size children you have. And because it's during, daylight, usually it's during the day.
Yeah, it's at sunset or...
And, it's considered safer than just running between house and house at night like we did when we were kids.
Yeah.
Getting up to shenanigans. So, yeah.
What was your favorite ever Halloween costume?
My mom made me a Wonder Woman costume.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Did she make you the invisible plane, too?
No. So I always wanted, because Leslie and I are children of the 80s, the store-bought plastic dress with the matching mask. I wanted that so bad for, Rainbow Bright and Gem of the Holograms. But my mom was crafty, and so, all our costumes were handmade. She'd get the Bernina pattern or whatever, and then she would make them. She and my father went as a princess and a frog, where she recycled her wedding dress and made it into a princess dress, and then dyed tights green, and made a whole frog outfit for Wheezy. We'll have to see if we can find some pictures. Do you have a favorite Halloween costume?
I genuinely don't remember trick-or-treating as a child. I have no memories whatsoever of... I mean, I'm sure I did. I just don't remember it.
I remember vividly one year in Pittsburgh, it snowed, and so we took, because Pittsburgh's hilly, we took a sled with us, one of the plastic sleds, and would, go down the hills on the sled as we ran around. But one of my neighbors in Pittsburgh was the owner of 84 Lumber.
Yeah.
And they didn't give full-size candy bars. They gave king-size candy bars.
They were ballers.
Yeah. And so you would always go there first.
Of course.
And people would try to sneak back around. No, they remembered you. So, yeah. Like, we went trick-or-treating up until middle school, I would say. But yeah, it was fun. And Beck's 5 years younger than me, so we always had to tote her along. And we always had pillowcases. That's what we would throw all our candy in, were, you know, pillowcases of candy. And then we'd come home and my parents would pick out, like, what they liked to eat. And the great trading would go on. Because when you have siblings...
You got favorite candy.
Oh, yeah. And you dump your pile and you're like, I'll trade you, like, 2 Tootsie Rolls
for a Kit Kat or something. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. More than that. Even if they're full size. I just realized, like, yesterday that, you know, Halloween's this week. I should get candy.
Yeah, I haven't done that yet.
But I didn't really, because a lot of people in this area do the trunk-or-treating. I have not had trick-or-treating, really, for the last couple of years. I've had a couple.
I feel like people go to the fancier, richer neighborhoods to trick-or-treat.
Yeah, my neighborhood's not like the neighborhood you typically go to trick-or-treat, and I'm on a cul-de-sac or a cove. So...
Also, your neighbors don't make it easy to pull into that cove.
No, they do not.
She's got one neighbor who, I swear to God, has this, like, Escalade Cadillac, like a SUV.
It is an Escalade.
And every time I go to Laura's house, that thing is further away from the curb and towards the middle of the street. Every time. It's just, like, an inch further, and I'm like... Why do you even bother, like...
And the house next door to me had a little girl in it that was super cute, but, they moved, and now it's an Airbnb. So, there are 2 twin boys across the street, and they usually come, but I haven't gotten good trick-or-treating since I had that whole bunch the one year, and that little boy looked in my house and said, "Oh, you live in a library." It was so cute.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we'll see.
We can't really do trick-or-treating here because the dogs would go crazy every time the doorbell rings. So we put out candy, but we can't have them ring the doorbell every 10 minutes. So
yeah, I might sit outside actually and
depending on the weather.
Yeah, if it's nice, we'll see.
So you got some
I don't
spinning,
know if people
right?
are gonna be coming Saturday or Sunday.
Yeah,
I wish that was better.
Sunday
advertised.
or Monday, because Sunday is the 30th and Monday is actually Halloween.
Yeah.
But some people tend to do it the last holiday night or weekend night before the holiday.
Yeah, I don't know. So I have 2 finished skeins I've actually been applying. The first is some Into the Worlds. It is some 80/20 silk. It is in the Oberon colorway. This was a July 2021 club. That actually, I spun the singles in July, right before SSK, and then moved them over to, like, storage bobbins. And, just now got around to applying them. But it is 500 yards of a 2-ply. That silk makes it, you know, a little finer.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm going to do a Musselburgh hat by Isolde Teague out of it. I think that'll be pretty.
It's the, like, double layer.
Mm-hmm. And I don't have a lot of blue-green hats. Today was hat day at work.
What hat did you wear?
I wore my bright pink.
Spot you in a crowd hat.
Yep. And also, I only wore it for half the day because I didn't feel it was warm in my room. And then the second is some Knits and Pearls Fiberwork. She's located out of Madison, Wisconsin. And the lovely women who are from Madison, who went to SSK this year, brought this as a gift. And so I spun it up. It is Rambouillet. Rambouillet is a type of wool that's kind of similar to merino. It's like a French merino. And it is 500 yards. The colorway is Sunburst at Sunset. So, I don't know how I split this up, but I split it very uneven. And as a result, there's like this
solid
big
pink
chunk of pink that was plied back on itself. That was like 200 yards almost. But it will work awesome. I like how bright it is.
Yeah.
Like, I was a little worried when I started applying because sometimes, like, the orange and the pink would match up, and I was like, I don't know if I like that. But I think it turned out really well. And it reminds me of like Starburst candy, is what it reminds me of. So I am currently applying on my Hanson some hip strings, and I got one bobbin spun when I first got my Sparrow, and it went to play away with me, and then the second bobbin got spun last week, and there is definitely a difference between those two bobbins. So it is 100% superwash American wool. The plan for that, it's 8 ounces, is a Twinkle Twinkle blanket by Helen Stewart. But we will have to see how it comes out at the end. Helen Stewart is doing her Knit Advent, the first clue released today. I will not spoil it for you. I'll spoil it for Leslie later because I really like it and I want to show it to her. But I typically always do the knit patterns because there are usually 3 out of however many, 6 maybe.
I think 6 is what it's been historically anyway.
That I've enjoyed, and I've knit at least one or two every year. So whether it's from that year or a previous year. And this one is all meant for with minis, and I have some minis in my house.
Do you?
Just a few.
I found some minis in a bucket of fabric.
Oh, I love those minis.
Evil little goat.
Yeah.
Yeah, so very good.
I have some other yarn from that person, so we must have ordered together.
Yeah, it must have been.
Anyway, yep, so minis are awesome, and I have quite a bit. Jude made me some minis one year for Advent.
Yeah. He wrapped Kinder Eggs around with minis around
the
them.
toys,
yeah.
Yep. So I do love a good toy. But yeah, that's it for me for spinning. You have sewing. You already showed your sewing. You have watercolors.
Yeah, so the last one that I showed was the Chinese lantern. These are all part of...
you showed those.
Did I? Okay. 100 Days of Watercolor warm-up. It's a class on Skillshare. We're not affiliated with Skillshare, but I put the link in the show notes. Our show notes are on our website, which is TheKnitGirlls with 3Ls.com.
You just showed that. No.
I don't think I did I?
I feel like you did.
Okay. Well, if you've seen it, then I must have.
Oh, maybe not.
So, I think the last one I showed... I thought the last one that I showed was the...
I definitely saw the bird.
The Chinese lantern. Okay.
And the ice cream.
Oh, yeah, I think the ice cream cone was the last one. So, fleur-de-lis, a terrible one. Some tomatoes on the vine. I know that's not how they actually grow. I mean, they do grow on a vine, but they don't look like that. A sailboat and a generic temple. A pumpkin and a...
Well, I like your pumpkin.
poor
I like
frightened rooster. That's what I... It's supposed to just be a rooster, but the poor thing looks very scared.
I like the negative space in your pumpkin.
And then...
Peas.
Snap peas and a peacock.
I like your peacock.
So, I'm 60% through.
Look at you.
And I'm going to run out of paper, so I'll just be painting on the backs. Because it's not like these are priceless heirlooms that I'm going to frame, so I'll just paint on the back.
How many days is it?
100.
Oh, okay.
And I'm 60 into it, so. Yep. I'm still searching for the perfect class to teach me about color theory and how to mix to get the color that I want. There's a lot of classes on Skillshare on it. So many that, like, it's hard to figure out which ones actually, because they are not all the same quality, let me tell you. Some of them are very much, I used my iPhone and wasn't super concerned about the quality of the video.
Can you, like, preview before you purchase?
Well, the way Skillshare works is you pay to join, and then you can watch as many as you want. So, I got, like, a 50% off coupon when I joined for the year, so I can watch as many as I want.
Okay.
As far as reading, I am rereading the Dragonkin series by G.A. Aiken. I'm on the 4th one, which is the keto one, which isn't my favorite, but... it does set up some stuff with, like, the Kivich witches.
Oh, the poisoner one?
And I'm listening to Hidden Legacy, the second group of trilogies. I just started the third book, the new one, Ruby Fever,
Okay.
earlier, well, yesterday maybe. I've been catching up on a lot of You're Wrong About podcasts. So I've learned about the obesity epidemic, because they did one of those before Michael joined You're Wrong About, or maintenance phase. Shaken baby syndrome, multiple personality disorder, a couple other ones.
Interesting.
What about you? What have you been reading?
Same thing. I've been listening to Hidden Legacy, not really, but I have been listening to Wretched Water Park on Libra FM. It's going fun. It's definitely giving me a series of unfortunate events vibes, and then there's a second in the series, so I will see how that goes. But yeah, just watching Dancing with the Stars to support Shangela, and watching a lot of hockey. And what else have I been watching? I'm on the last season of Death in Paradise, so I'm not certain I like the new police officer dude, but you know, whatever. Or I'm on season 10, that might not be the last season, I don't know. So yeah, I'm doing that before my BritBox subscription expires, because I was only holding on to it until I get through that, and then I'll wait until the new Nun, Sister Boniface, comes out, and I'll rejoin. But yeah, that is it for me. There is a great Halloween Craft All the Things going on in our Discord, and the Discord is linked in our show notes, which you can find at TheKnitGirlls.com with 3 L's. Leslie and I have a Patreon going on this Sunday. It is our monthly knit-along, craft-along that we do for 2 hours with our folks, which is lovely. And then next week, probably Tuesday or Thursday, we got to work out the logistics before we post it. We are going to do our fail-along on, Leslie's very good at watercolor.
Leslie has done watercolor. There's a very big difference.
But I have not done watercolor since I took a class when I was 12. So there is a person on TikTok that I follow that did some cool, like, pumpkins and ghosts.
I think it was like Rebel Unicorn something.
I don't know. But yeah, we are going to try that technique with watercolor, and it should be fun.
So if you're one of our Patreon supporters, you can look forward to that. If you don't know what Patreon is, it's a way where you can support your favorite creators, whether that's us as a podcast, or whether that's some other, like, actually educational podcast, or a singer, or like
knitting magazine,
media artist, or something. Like, there's all sorts of makers.
Someone who's doing work for, like, the Conscious Kid. So there's lots of different people on there. We keep the show free, open for everyone through Patreon, and then we do extra activities for our Patreon people. So if you just cannot get enough of us,
I mean,
there's that as well. And we are very low key, so that is something. And usually Pearl makes an appearance.
Yes, and sometimes Liz's parrot makes an appearance, and other people's animals make appearances,
and sometimes kiddos, and it's just a fun group.
Yeah,
it's a good group of people, and it's very inspiring to see what other people are working on too.
Oh yeah, always end up adding stuff to my Kia.
Yeah, absolutely. So that is what is going on with us. My Amazon wish list for my school library is also posted in the bottom of our show notes. Every book is awesome when people buy them for our school. Like, my kids add to that list all the time, so thank you if you've supported that in the past, for sure. I think that's it.
Yeah, I don't have anything else.
I need to eat dinner. Have you eaten dinner yet?
No, it's just now 7 o'clock. I am not a teacher who has to get up at 6 a.m.
5 a.m.
or whatever, yeah.
I have to leave the house at 6:15. But, yeah.
Well, we hope you guys have an awesome week and weekend, and we will talk to you again next week.
Bye, y'all.
Bye, y'all.